YouTube disclosure, this is for entertainment and educational purposes. Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for March 28th, 2022. We're here on Cathy's website, CathyDSlaght.com, to access Cathy's Zoom call, which will demonstrate the SRC4u software. Just scroll down. We're going to look for the Zoom banner and click. This will take us over into her live Zoom call, and that will be loud.
I hope everybody had a good weekend. We're still running from yesterday. And I love what we chose as our statement, I am God's masterpiece. That sounds pretty cool. But I did have an interesting experience over the weekend in addition to the Kratom. I've been working to organize my oils because I want to be able to put my hands on an oil when I want the oil. And instead of having, I've been in the oils since 2002. So believe me, I have a bunch of oils.
How did you organize them?
Alphabetically, I bought a little case and, of course, immediately filled up that case. Oh. And then I had some other little organizing things, and I put everything in alphabetical order.
I'm excited to see if you want to share because I'm in the same situation.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I'll send you. I like this little case very much. I'll send you a picture of it. And but it wasn't enough because I have so many. But what's happening now, the last couple of nights, now that they're organized, I go into the dispenser and I do an essential oils cocktail, and whatever comes up as the top oil, then I go ahead and I put that one on before bed. And I really believe in these oils, and I've neglected them. But anyway, during that time, I think I'm talking to people that already know this stuff, but during this time, as I've got this big mess of oils and I've got a bunch of them on my bed trying to get everything alphabetized for the various cases, there I looked and there laid a book on my bed about blood pressure. And so what happened is to me, and the same for the rest of you, if you're going to do this energy work every day, you're going to have synchronicity. So I looked at that and I thought, okay, so I made a list. As read the book, made a list. And so then this morning, I came in, I want to show you, I went in to the dowser. One wonderful thing is when you start getting that discarnate scan on a regular basis, your body remembers how to clear itself, and very often you don't need it. So I tested, we didn't want a discarnate scan. And then I tested, did we want the SRC4u startup? No. But look what we wanted. Blood pressure scan, 100% benefit. So let's do it. The blood pressure, so many have it and they don't even know there's no symptoms. And they think the blood, and even though we're not on this subject, we're on a different subject of the brain, which we'll go back into in a minute from that part. But it's not going to help our blood pressure very much to have a stroke. So, our brain rather, to have a stroke. So I'll send this out. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and just scan it. Oh, wait a minute. I already did. Hold on. There we go. So this is what we came up with. Now remember, this is a group. And let me see how far. This is a group of people. But it does look like there's some impact to the arteries in our eyes. Pollution is actually related to high blood pressure. Now, this isn't interesting. We see certain races have a predisposition to high blood pressure. So let's see, do we want to clear that in the group? Well, this isn't a bad thing probably with what's going on statistically, since they think this could be perhaps related to almost every situation. Might not hurt to scan yourself once in a while. Let's see if we want to clear. Since it did come up. Yeah, we don't mind doing that. Let's just go in here. Let's see, first of all, do we want to do it with the yes therapy or the recharger? Looks like it's the yes therapy. This one was a big one for, so far, I've run this scan on a few people for fiber. And this was an interesting one too. Your blood pressure can go up if you talk too much. And so it's better if you have a little stress with blood pressure to do more listening and less talking. Repair organ damage from high blood pressure came up, obesity, high cholesterol, shortness of breath. And then this was an interesting one too, clear genetic tendency for high blood pressure. If the people in your family, your parents, etc., had high blood pressure, it's very possible that that stress could come up for you too. So let's go in here and see if we want to clear that. And I think there's a code for it too, but I left both of them in. Well, it's close, so we could do it. Let's see.
Did you take it?
Pardon?
Did you take that one?
Did I take that one? Absolutely, yeah. Both my parents had high blood pressure. And my daughter had it, even though she doesn't have high blood pressure. It did run in the family, both sides. Let's see. Therapy. And as you get older, too, this is something they have talked about. There's the yes therapy.
Can you send this to us too?
Oh, well, yeah, it'll be in the notes for sure. So we want to do the recharger on that one. Just 3 minutes. We're not major on that. Anyway, so that, let's just go ahead and put that in. And it's something we probably all need to be more aware of, so we keep the stress managed in reference to it. And then, but what was happening really is we're still working on the brain. And speaking of which, my brain obviously needs some work because I forgot to send the Dorian light number, so here it is. And then here are a couple of courts of atonements, that because as I was studying this owner's manual for the brain, it dawned on me the best thing we can do for our future generations is to be what we're supposed to be. So here someone sent some courts of atonement. Here they are if anyone wants to work with them. And then I got to playing around with the mediator, so I want to show you what we did. So in order to reach our full potential, we've all been programmed with some toxic beliefs about ourselves. It might just come from the human race overall. It doesn't have to be any kind of caretaker mismanagement. It could be just being on the planet. That remember, the code is always a good thing, so we want to see. All right, so let's just douse that in. We all have this. We are not immune because we're living on the planet. Some say we're just playing a reality game. Let's see if we want this in the sustenance balancer. Yeah, look at that, 97% benefit. So let's just go ahead and freedom from destructive emotions and mental programming. these are all things that are doable. I've come to the conclusion, not that I'm accomplishing it myself, but the more you study this stuff, the more you realize what you're capable of. And especially when we have these tools, and what I've always said, it's not the SRC doing it, it's your awareness of what's going on coupled with this, which can help do a little stress management, but it's you doing it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Definitely.
So, in other words, what if we had no tools? We could still do it. Just this is a little, okay, look at that, 98% there too, so let's put a little S next to that. So, now this one, there was no code yet. Activate innate capacity for self-ordering and reconstruction. So in other words, we've got what it takes. We may not know it yet because of our other programming, but we are already equipped to do this. We just may need to activate it. And we'll take that. Nope. So anyway, I learned something over the weekend. I was listening to an old Dawson Church YouTube. And what created that is I had a little trouble getting into the replays or the summit. I did finally get in, but when I first tried to get in, I couldn't. So I saw Dawson Church was one of the speakers. So I went ahead and pulled up an old YouTube of his, and he is interesting. If y'all have not listened to him, he's amazing, actually. And he said, we create one new neuron every second. And so there are a few things he mentioned. Little antennas we may need to balance out involved with this. But we come equipped. Let's just see if we want to do that. What I've been doing, we still are going to look at the Pro Tools, but if it goes all the way up like this, then I'm just checking for the sustenance balancer, and other than that, we'll wait for the Pro Tools selector. We're good there. And then this gamma brainwave apparently is what we want to aim for. It's a step over the alpha, and I'll tell you, he really does explain why we need to be meditating, which some of us have a little trouble with, like me. And it looks like, yeah, it's been very interesting, and but the way he explains it, I'm going to give it another shot. So, I feel like I'm meditating a little bit while I'm doing the energy work, but I think perhaps not. Someone suggested just light a candle and look at the flame. So, because, go ahead.
Did I share with you last week that I was listening to this man speak, and he was talking about dark energies, and he said that they hate the harp. And,
oh, really?
Yes, harp music. So he said I always have it on in the background around the house. So over the weekend, over the weekend I was trying to meditate. I'm kind of like you, Cathy. I'm like all over the place, and I just sat down and I was just gonna do it. And oh man, I'm telling you, I was all over the place. And then I thought about what Jared said. So I looked on YouTube and found 528 hertz harp.
Whoa.
And I it on, and within about 5 minutes, I could feel my body kind of calming down, you know?
Whoa.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought I would just throw that out since
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you said you had troubles. I think that's most people have an issue with their head, you know, trying to.
Yeah, I can't sit. So I said today, starting today after the Zoom, I'm gonna turn my phone off and give it a shot. Now you see, and then what I want to say too, we got to get the brain and the heart in sync. And that's apparently what we can do if we are going to meditate. That's one of the purposes. And this was interesting too. And again, I think this group pretty much knows this, but I didn't know it. Is that your emotions are contagious. And so you want to be an agent of contagion for positive emotions.
And to interrupt,
yeah.
I sent Cathy an email this weekend where this has been going on for some time, but when you get the email, when you open it up, you'll see that it's regarding frequency and how this music completely calms you down.
Is it music? Is it that CBD thing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. I'll share that. That's expensive, though. Don't they want like $70 or $90 or something for it?
But when you get out and you research it, you can still find it out there without having to pay for it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good. I will include that.
Cathy, I'll send you one too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, there's so much we can be doing. And but this positive emotions, we want to just watch ourselves. We can't control anybody else. We can watch ourselves. So anyway, I was playing around with this, and I got to think, and all the spiritual writings, maybe not all, maybe that's too big of a world, but we're constantly hearing that we're here to create heaven on earth. And looking around, I think we need a little help with that sometimes. So I went into the mediator, and just to see what we said, and this was an interesting experience. It took a while. The 10, I think we might have done in the Zoom. I think we'd already done that, but it went down to 9. We see, I just rounded it off. I didn't put all the little figures in there. But we weren't in favor of it at a level of 9. I went again to a level of 9, again to a level of 9. Finally, in other words, what's holding us back is our own self. Then I went down to 8. That was okay. 7, we had to do a few times. 6, we had to do a couple times. And on down, you can see this for yourself, to where we finally went and did some clearing. And I wonder what would happen now. I wanted to see what would happen, but I wonder what would happen now if we did this a little different way. And Kevin, give me any feedback on this, please. But what if we put over here the pro, and over here the con is a 0? So in other words, we're not blocking ourselves. It's something to see. We'll come back to it in a minute.
I remember speaking with MJ, and she was always so beautiful with her intentions and how she put stuff out there.
Yeah. Well, that I did get to listen. Thank you to those who sent that information to some of the Global Summit. I didn't figure out how to get in till later Sunday, but it looked like they were trying to sell me the program, and that was not the case once I figured that out. But I did get to listen. I think the best one so far was Raymond Grace.
You got that right.
They asked him in the interview. They asked him why he got such results, and other people would douse and not get that kind of results. And he said, well, 2 things. First of all, I do it all the time. So yeah, he's dowsing all the time. I do think it sounds to me like he has some special gifts, so I'm not going to leave that out. But also, and this was the big one, he said, I have intent. He gave an example, if any of you didn't listen to that.
Exactly.
Yeah. He gave an example of a guy in prison that was just freezing because the temperature was so low. And he said that he looked at that like torture. So he just got out his pendulum and raised the temperature. And he did. It went up. This is measurable. I know when I took his course years ago, people came to the course with pictures of water that had been cleared with dowsing. So we've got our intent. We've got our intent if we want to kick it in. And then just a few other things. Let's see at this moment.
This course 2 times.
Yeah, I took one where I, went to the live course and then one online, but I still haven't really, I need to do a little more with it. I pretty much focused just on the SRC and the dowsing, not the pendulum, but all right. So we've got a 60% benefit of clearing negative emotional childhood triggers. We know that first 7 years, how programmable we are. Clear non-beneficial life-controlling behavior programs. No, don't need to at this moment in time. That's not a priority. And then clear non-beneficial behavioral activity programmed into the subconscious mind during the first 7 years. And again, you're just kind of experimenting. No? And let's just amend this one. Clear stress related. The ego, as you know, is the one that thinks everything comes from outside. So you've got to fight for your part of it, as maybe a simple explanation. The soul knows you already have it. Let's see where we are with that. Again, we're looking good here. We've been doing a lot of this work. And so, but then the other thing, and I love this quote, so I just added it. In times of change, learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. So, in other words, there's a few things that have changed, and we may have to understand it. We may have to become learners instead of learned. Does that make sense? Kind of negate some of the things we thought we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, and this, I really need some help with this one. We have this rise in the transsexual sexual identity stress. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything in the environment that could be setting that off. If anybody has had any reading information that they could share. I'm going through the main thing to go through with this, though, for starters, is that many are judgmental about the sexual identity challenges. And these people, they go through horrible stress. So that would be the first thing we need to probably, that goes back to the listening. Listen to people who are impacted by these sexual identity issues. We need to clear our fears about it. And then a few other things here we can look at, which means we need to listen. That might be part of the difference between the learner and the learned. Want to do some balancing of dimension. Let's just look at a couple of these that have the codes. Listen to the people who are impacted by sexual identity issues. So you see right there. And then that listen again, and then balance physical, psychological, and socio-cultural dimensions. This is an interesting one. Bring clarity to the Bible. A lot of people believe the Bible is speaking against these things. They may not be interpreting it correctly. And again, that might be a difference between the learner and the learned.
Neville Goddard.
There you go. Let's just see.
He studied the Bible every single day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes, indeed.
All right. Well, there's certainly some information there. Now this is, and there was actually a code for this, which surprised me. Cultivate a social regard for the intersex and those with gender conflicts that is more thoughtfully narrated, seeded with up-to-date and accurate information and a revisited theology. I couldn't believe me. I don't know how they, sometimes I think we're reading the same thing. They have that code. And of course, obviously, empathy and compassion. But has anybody read anything about why this sexual identity has increased, this stress related to that? Or is it just that we have more publicity about it now? Is it something that's gone on, you know, as long as we have our civilization? Anybody have any information on that?
I think a lot of it's publicity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's certainly a inflamed topic for most people.
Well, and they like to keep us inflamed because we sure can't produce what we're capable of when we're upset.
Right.
I know this latest publicity about the swimmer, and he's still got his genitals. So he's in the locker room, and the women are seeing all this, and it's created an uproar. And who knows the answer?
It's going to be interesting going forward, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Lots of flaws in our history that we want to clear. This love on body, that certainly can't hurt as a code for anybody. Okay, and then this was something, Karen sent me this, and this was so interesting, I wanted to share it. You know, when the 10 windows in the sky comes up as our theme, this is what that's for, the imbalanced flow of chi and blood. And here's just a little information I'll include in your notes. But this might be something to work with at this time, because it can release emotional trauma even from decades old experiences. So I thought I'd maybe share that, and we may want to just focus. You can pick a theme. You don't have to always let the SRC pick it, but this can be used in some past life work to take you back into that idea of what might have happened to influence you now, etc. So anyway, with that in mind, here we are. Let's just see. We have scanned a few times, thank goodness. We've got, there's that ego. So there is something to that as far as stress goes. Nervous. To see if we want to balance the nervous system. No, don't need to do that at this moment in time. thymus. Wouldn't hurt to do the thymus tap today. Challenging, amused, a little stress related to the liver.
I learned that pump your thymus years ago.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if okay, let's put that in here. Oops. Words to ponder. The only routine with me is no routine at all. So that might be interesting in reference to what we're talking about today, finding time to meditate, finding time to tap the thymus, and all these other things. Modest, isolated, 4 minutes. Well, we don't need that. Let's just look at that. Then this would be our own mind doing this. Let's just scan it down. Don't forget how powerful the Gong is. Lack of freedom. Didn't mean to put a good thing. All that's going in. You can see yesterday we did want a discarnate scan, and we're almost all the time, this clear all potential war with China comes up as a stress. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It means enough are concerned about it that it comes up to de-stress. Self-reproach or regret, that's your ego doing that kind of thing. Let's see about the stress level.
What was that? Resistance ears?
Pardon me?
I saw on there it said resist or ears. Resist.
Yeah, it's self-reproach or regret. Oh, ears, yeah, resistance factor ears. That could relate to listening, because we did have that come up in a couple of different ways in our scan, that maybe there's something we need to hear. A lot of times, we're not working anyway with the physical body. We're working with our energy fields. And very often these things have nothing to do with the physical. And I'm going to guess this has to do with listening, since that already has come up. There might be some information we need that we're missing out on.
I'm glad to bring that up because I have a problem with my ears hearing.
There you go. Well, let's just see what we've got here. And then let's look at the Pro Tools. Okay, it's not, my Pro Tools have had a little thing to where they sometimes get stuck. And I may not be able to, oh, there we go. Yay. But see, it's not, I'm going to have to fire up that new computer. So I'll have to show you that tomorrow, I guess. And so just go with it that way. So anyway, but here's where we are for now. And I'll show you the rest of it tomorrow. Let's see. Good old Wonder Click. Let's try one more time. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's it, I guess, for today.
If it's been a while since you shut the computer off, sometimes there's cumulative errors in the memory.
Okay.
So shut everything down and then bring it up fresh from a cold start.
I have been doing that, but I will do it again. I'll wait till we're done though here with our.
Yeah, I noticed you don't have the latest menu either.
Okay, I don't. I thought I upgraded.
Nope, you sure didn't. Nope, because you didn't have everything closed yet.
Okay, I will do it then. Thank you. I need to talk with you later today anyway, if you get a break.
Very good.
I'll check in with you. So that's it for now.
Everybody have a blessed day.
Yes, take care.
Yeah, you guys too. Bye-bye. Thank you, Cathy.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call. Thank you for participating. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well. YouTube disclaimer, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only.